If you think your dishwasher is only good for cleaning or that your washer dryer is just for laundry, think again. Those appliances can also reduce your impact on climate change if you make sure not to run them between peak hours of 4 to 9 p.m. Because outside those times, there's more renewable energy for them to use. SCE Time of Use Rates, an easy way to make a change for the better. Visit sce.com/TOU rates for more information.
KFI AM 640. The news, what it means, why it matters.
Christ Show. I am your holy host. Happy to be with you this Sunday, as I am with you every single Sunday, right here answering your questions and talking about the things that truly matter in life.
We do a work zone in the Spur area.
I encourage you to be bold and brave and go to your phone with your theology question or life situation questions, obviously with a global pandemic and being locked in, as they say. There's a lot going on emotionally, with relationships, with loneliness, the lack of touch, which is so incredibly damaging to the soul. All of these things, I know there's stuff on your mind. Anywhere in the U.S. of A, dial 800-520-1534. That's 800-520-1534. Emily, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Jesus, thank you. Thank you for your show. I want to start by saying that I am a true believer as I am getting ready for service right now. I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but I feel that I just need to hear it being said.
What's going on?
2 days ago, I got word of my brother passing, my younger brother. There's 7 siblings, and he was the baby. There's a family situation about 10 years ago that separated him from the rest of us, well, the rest of my siblings except myself. I've been in contact with him. Now, my brother passed due to deep depression and just poor choices. And so now dealing with this, my siblings are calling, and I'm having a really hard time in communicating. There's only actually one that I'm talking to. The others I can't. I'm not picking up their texts or picking up their calls, because I'm having a big stir of emotions. They want to know what kind of person he was this past 10 years, and when's the last time I talked to him, when's the last time I saw him.
So, Emily, the family has been estranged from your brother, or the other siblings have, for 10 years?
Yes.
And they have not had contact with him?
No. Except me.
Except you. And when was the last time you spoke with him?
With my brother, my beautiful brother Chris. I heard from him like about last week. A text he finally returned to me. The last time I heard his voice was probably about 2 weeks when we talked. Maybe he gave me 5 minutes.
And why do you think you still connected with him when the rest of the family did not?
Because I connected because there was a family situation, and I saw it in a different light. That he was that he wasn't doing anything bad. He was doing something good. It was concerning my mother that had dementia, and some choices had to be made. And he's the one that stepped up to care for my mother, and she has passed. And but they saw it differently, and I told them, all the good things that he was doing, and but he was the one that stepped up and cared for her as much as he could. But they saw it more of greed, that he was taking my mother for financial gain when he didn't need financial gain. He was very well set.
And how did he pass?
They found him in his apartment. The custodian found him in his apartment up in San Francisco. And there's an autopsy that's going to, is in the process, but we won't get the results. He was seeing a psychiatrist. He was on prescription medications. He had admitted himself about 2 weeks prior for his depression, and because he was taking more pills than he was supposed to. And so I don't know for sure, but I want to say that, he overdosed.
On prescription medication?
Yes.
Is there concern that it might be a suicide?
No, the coroner said that there was no note. There was no self-inflection, no markings on his body. And he never had, with me, he had never said that he had you in his life. He went to bed back. He had lost his job, his high-paying job. He was very depressed about that. He was depressed about a relationship that he was in that was ending.
And what's your question for me this morning?
How do, so I'm going to be going up there on Tuesday, and I'm dealing with the grief, with a lot of emotions, and I just feel like I'm going to be bombarded with questions, and I want to represent you. Okay, always. I want to represent you, who you are. They all know that I am a true, strong believer. I just want the right words that I want to say, but I don't want to lash out. Part of me does, but I know that's not the right thing to do.
Pain comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes, as does grief. And when you're in that situation, I know that there's, as you so aptly put, there's this flood of emotions that you're dealing with. But there's something more important, and we talk about this on the program from time to time when it comes to the death of a loved one. And that is even more important in this situation. You're the curator of his museum. And even now, and oftentimes that's being the curator of someone's museum, is to remember them and to share parts of who they are, what made them special, what they thought was funny, what they thought was interesting, all those things, to usually to strangers or new people. It's frustrating, I know, to have to be that to his very family. But right now, I think that it's most important not to look at the old things and to beat them up or to have this big battle over what's going to take place. I think it's more important that you, when they ask, to share things that were special to you about him and the things that you guys would talk about and the troubles that he was going through, the things that really weighed on him, and leave it at that. Let them lead. Let them ask questions and do your best to answer them, but don't feel the need to do anything proactively. Go mourn, be with your family, and do your best with the grace of God to answer the questions that are asked of you. That's it. Don't put extra weight on your shoulders that doesn't need to be there.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you're going to do great. And this is going to be part of the healing. It stinks. And the pain of it it seems unbearable at times, I know. But for whatever reason, this is the path that the family's gone down. And when you have a family that is that large, 7 siblings, there's going to be a lot of difference in, even though you come from the same place and you're raised by the same people, there's the old saying that no child is ever raised by the same set of parents, because parents are growing too and they go through different things. And kids that were raised earlier on might have had different teaching techniques or rearing techniques than when the parents got older, and all these things, these differences make you who you are. And so oftentimes it can feel like they all came from somewhere different. So there's going to be different views, different ways of mourning, and you have the complication of disagreements as to who your younger brother was. And sometimes that can come from different things. You said your mom was ill, battling with dementia. And sometimes when a sibling steps up in a situation like that, rises to the occasion and takes care of it, that the rest of the family, through guilt and shame sometimes, can resent them and actually start looking for things that they dislike about it or that they didn't trust or what have you. There's a lot intertwined in all this. But ultimately, don't bear it all on your shoulders. Just spend the time mourning your brother and being available to answer questions to anyone who asks, that you can share with them who he was, and leave it at that.
You are listening to The Jesus Christ Show. To ask your question, dial 800-520-1534.
Hi, Rick Edelman here. You want to finally understand all this hubbub about blockchain and digital assets? I'm excited to tell you that you can now order your copy of my brand new book, The Truth About Crypto. The Truth About Crypto is my straightforward, practical guide to introduce you to the most profound innovation for commerce since the invention of the Internet. Blockchain technology is going to add $2 trillion to the world's economy this decade. I'm a #1 New York Times best-selling author, and my new book shows you how you can engage in today's new investment marketplace. The Truth About Crypto. It's fun to read, easy to understand. Most importantly, it gives you the sound, practical information you need to succeed with this new asset class. I cut through the jargon to reveal why blockchain is so transformative and how it works. A must-read guide if you want to achieve investment success today. Order your copy of The Truth About Crypto right now at your favorite bookseller.
In grad night, be sure to keep your family and loved ones safe from infection while you enjoy your time together. The next surge could be just ahead. Keep your loved ones safe. Visit your local COVID clinic and get a PCR or rapid result test. Visit one of their safe and clean facilities near you before you travel or if you feel that you may have been exposed. Life is for living. Book a test at covidclinic.org to keep the party rolling. covidclinic.org.
Are you thinking about selling your home? Before you list, call Revive. Revive will show you how to flip your own home so it sells faster for more and nets way more profit. Revive fronts the costs and guarantees the results. Go to iloverevive.com, iloverevive.com.
With literally thousands of personal injury lawyers in Los Angeles, it's quite an honor for Jacoby & Myers to have been voted the #1 personal injury law firm for the past 3 years. We know you have a lot of choices, but why not hire #1? Jacoby & Myers, 800-992-2222.
When interest rates rise, credit card debt gets more expensive. Make sure you're doing what you can to pay it off faster, especially during these times. You can learn more in as little as 10 minutes when you call American Financing, America's home for home loans. where the process starts with a free mortgage review. No pressure, no obligation, no upfront or hidden fees. Just a simple conversation around the benefits of a cash-out refinance. So you can learn about custom options that can help you secure a lower rate, spend less on interest, and pay your balance off faster. It could mean savings up to $1,000 a month, and even more long-term. So why not learn more? If you like what you hear, you could skip 2 payments and may close in as fast as 10 days when you call American Financing, 800-906-2440. That's 800-906-2440. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
I love my X chair. I don't like it, I love it. It is by far the most comfortable chair I've ever owned, and honestly, it's probably the coolest piece of furniture in my office. What makes it so great? It's got this thing called DVL, and I think that stands for Dynamic Variable Lumbar. What I know is that it supports my back like no chair I have ever had before. And it even has this Elemax technology, which has 4 different massage options, and I can like cool or warm my back. So I've never had an office chair that could do things like that. And I don't know about you, but I'm splitting my time these days between my home office and my traditional office, my old office. And if you're doing that too, take my advice. Get an X chair for each. Because once you sat in an X chair and felt the difference for yourself, trust me, you're not going to want to sit in another office chair again.
Go to orderxchair.com now. That's order.xchair.com for $100 off your order. X-Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase for as little as $30 a month. orderxchair.com. That's order.xchair.com.
Checking Kfi traffic, we do have a crash in the Boyle Heights area. 5 southbound of 4th Street, that has the right lane blocked. To Alhambra on the 710 southbound of the 10, we have a crash there, blocking the left lane. And look out in downtown LA on the 110 southbound of the 10 freeway, a crash there has the connector road partially blocked. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jonathan Weiss.
The Jesus Christ Show. I am your holy host. Happy to be with you this Sunday as I am with you every single Sunday right here, answering your questions and talking about things that truly matter in life and the afterlife. I encourage you to be bold and brave and go to the phone with your theology question or life situation question anywhere in the U.S. of A. Dial 800-520-1534. That's 800-520-1534. Ed, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Hi, good morning, holy host.
Hi, Ed. What's going on?
I just have it's either a simple or a complicated question, I guess.
Okay. Or somewhere in between. All right, fair enough.
So, how come there's like a lot of Christian denominations like Lutheran or Baptist, and is it just different? I guess the preachers just different training, on how to interpret the Bible, I guess.
Well, yes, but it goes a little deeper than that. What ends up happening is mankind has a way of trying to look for what sets them apart rather than what unifies them. So that's why there's a tribal mentality. It's even getting more intense these days, that people are separating themselves into, who and what they are, their belief system, whether they're male, female, whether they're of a particular color. People tribalize. It's their natural desire to build little groups. They're essentially gangs, for lack of a better term, and people get into their little groups. And it's the same with, types of music you listen to, sports that you watch. If you ever see people that really love sports, you'll see them buy the jersey of their favorite sports team, and they'll represent that by, talking about it all the time, and when they see someone else wearing it, it's tribalizing, and people tribalize. So you get this belief system, Christianity, and there are absolutes. There are things that you cannot change. They're in Scripture. They are defined as the essentials, and they show, they really are the definition from the early church as to what a Christian is. So the early church gets the first, they get the rule. People can want to change them all they want now. They can want to change the Apostles' Creed. They can want to do all these things. But the reality is the early church believed in a particular structure and what the belief system was, and that's the essentials. But then there's a lot of non-essentials, or there's gray area. So what ended up happening is everybody said, yes, we believe in these essentials, but then they would disagree on baptism of children versus adults. They disagree on little parts of Scripture, and they would have offshoots. So the major one is, first you have the one church. But if you look throughout the New Testament and you read the epistles, you'll see that the epistles were letters to different churches, the Church of Corinth, the Church of Ephesus, and you'll see that there were issues that they were having. So they were trying to control and say, hey, it seems like you're getting a little lopsided over here, or you're going down this path and that might be dangerous. These types of things, and they were trying to control it. Well, that only lasts for so long, and then what you end up having is a rebellion. So the rebellion ended up being Protestantism, or Protestants. They were, in the early church, there were those that rejected some of the things that the church was doing, and they branched off. And now you have Catholicism, and you have Protestantism, or protesters.
Right.
And they split off, and then you start getting groups that splinter into those. You have ultra-Orthodox Catholics, you have more liberal Catholics, you have charismatic Catholics, and then you have Protestants of different shades as well. And it's all based on what separates them, not what joins them, because the essentials still pretty much stay the same, and you get people that are branching off or pulling away from one another based on regions, certain beliefs, certain gray areas in Scripture, and it's just human nature to do that. It's not God's plan. It's not the desire of God for there to be separation in the church. It's God's desire to have unity in the church, but humankind has a way of messing things up.
Okay. So it's almost like, to me, the way I'm getting it is, let's say, for example, the early church is like you pass a message, like, I get down the line with 10 different people, hey, how are you doing this morning? And then by the time it gets to that 9th or 10th person, it's like, how is Anna doing? So...
Well, that's the old telephone game theory, and it doesn't... It's not exactly the same case, because you're not just dealing with oral tradition, you're dealing with a very meticulous writing down, passing down of information. So by the time the early church started, you really have that structure already in place. It's more where Scripture doesn't speak that people have issues. So they start interpreting or coming up with conclusions, and someone says, how do you come up with that conclusion? They said, well, I did this. You have different scholars saying, I think it means this, and others saying, I think it means that, and they kind of split off. It's not so much a mutation based on a misunderstanding like the game of telephone. It's somebody mutating based on their own biased belief or lack of instruction from Scripture. They kind of read into it, and they say, I think it means this, and then they're willing to die for it or to defend it because it ends up becoming their tribal interests. So the church has tribal interests the same way any group does in the world. People tribalize. They want to be a part of a group, and it happens with the church as well, and that's where you get all these different denominations. But the core beliefs still remain the same, which is why it's less of a problem than it might sound. You are listening to The Jesus Craig Show. To ask your question, dial 800-520-15